Okay. Okay, so y'all should be able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. 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 So this is going to be my script. My name is Alex Yancey, and the script that I decided to do was a text-based adventure game. So for this, I would like to have one of you help by making the choice of what you do so that I can show it off. So,
Got you covered.
okay. So Paul, do you want to start your quest or quit now?
I'll start my quest.
Okay, so for this first section, you'll choose by hitting either 1 or 2. So I guess I'll just read this to y'all because I don't know how blurry it is for you. It says, you will now begin your quest for the Goblet of Power. You begin your quest by entering a small cave. You have 2 choices. Follow the well-lit path or go down the dangerous second path. What do you choose?
Dangerous second path for sure.
The dangerous second path. Okay, so we'll type in number 2 for that. Okay, now this is where, well, I'll read it first. You start down your chosen path, find an old torch to light your path. You walk along the path and see a stranger sitting on the ground. They appear to be bleeding. Do you stop and help? And on this one, instead of typing 1 or 2, I shifted it so you have to either type yes or no. So what would be your choice?
I'm going to say no.
Okay, so you're going to say no.
Yeah, I mean, social distancing is a thing. Like, I can't just be stopping help people bleeding all over the place.
Yes, that's actually a good choice. You go to walk past the stranger only to see that he's a vampire. He tries to chase you, but as he reaches out to grab you, a wall of the cave collapses and traps the vampire. You're safe for now. So now you come upon a stone tablet with a riddle on it. The tablet reads, voiceless it cries, wingless it flutters, toothless it bites, mouthless it mutters. What is it? And your 4 choices are water, earth, wind, and fire.
Wind.
Wind. Gee, Paul, have you done this before?
No, I just like riddles.
Okay. Okay, so in that one, which I guess, you seem to be getting everything right. So I'll show you the wrong answers here in a second. Congratulations, you've solved the riddle of the Cave of Wonders. Continue on, brave adventurer, your prize is nigh. So you've reached the end of your quest. The Goblet of Power resides on a shrine. You pick it up and feel the power surge within you. So on this one, you have 2 choices. Keep the goblet and leave the cave, or smash it because nobody should have that kind of power.
Gotta smash it.
Okay. So you smash it and find a secret exit behind the cave, or behind the shrine. You feel a wave of accomplishment because you have completed your quest and saved the world from the goblet's evil power. So congratulations, you got it all correct the first time. I did not expect that. I gotta be honest.
Have you seen my office, bro?
Yes. So I'm going to run it again. Okay, so just as a quick example, say you quit or you choose to quit, it'll display that and go.
That'd be my choice.
To just quit now?
Yeah. I'm like, quit. Did something wrong.
So most people, who are, not masochists would want to go down the well-lit path, but you do that and it chooses to do this. Now I want to point out here how instead of just going to the next choice like it was before, how it's ending the script. That's because of this right here, the return. It makes it to where it just ends it right there and goes back to the prompt. I did use if else. Can't think of the word. We'll just say commands. And how you ask the question and get it was the read host, which I actually really like that command because it allows for input, which I know me and Mr. Goodman were talking, and that's not really necessarily what PowerShell's used for all that much, but I thought it was an interesting thing to be able to make it do all that. Let's see. And of course, I used the foreground color to change it to make it a little bit more, if you did good or bad. And this, by the way, was supposed to be one of the hardest riddles in the world. But there's a way to make it to where I didn't give you choices, and if you would have just had to answer, and if you didn't, it would have made you lose and go back out. But that was quite a bit more code based on what I looked up. But it ended up being 88 lines for that short adventure. Any questions?
Actually, I do.
Yes.
That last one, where it was a lot of code if you answered anything other than the correct answer.
Mm-hmm.
Could that? Well, I think it's more for Goodman. But if you did a if not equal to, would that still require a bunch of code, or would that not work in that scenario?
I don't know. I would use a switch, and that could, if there's like multiples. Then you do
So
four
like
different options: water, earth, wind, fire, and then the default.
Yeah, I think what he's asking though, like if I took all of this off and you had to just answer instead of having the like, he's saying, could you put not equal to when, then
yeah.
like could you do that and make it simple?
And I would have used some type of switch scenario,
Okay.
which is a case in other programming languages.
Any other questions?
I would have avoided the if I could have.
Yeah, I wanted, if I hadn't have already written all of it and would have had to start over, I would have after me and you talked, but it was working at that point and I didn't want to go and mess up something else with the little amount of time that I had left.
You can greatly explode something and never work again. And then like, how did I have it originally working? I can't get back there.
Yeah, it took me a little bit to realize that that was the problem, which now that we're talking about that, did find out if you put too many clear hosts in there, then it can break it. So yeah, well, it can. It will if you put more than just like one extra, because it completely wrecked it and made it to where no matter what you pushed, it would come all the way down to the bottom and just read the last line of text. So if you're going to use that, just keep in mind not to do it too much. Any other questions before I'm done? Okay, well, I guess that's all for me then.
Yay, who's next?
I'll do it. I need to go open that super quick.
Just remember when you go to share, check that optimize for video or something at the bottom.
All right. Here. How do I get it to correctly do the PowerShell ISC menu? Because it's not letting me we can capture that window.
You have to make the text a little bit bigger. If you hold down your control key and
Yeah,
roll,
okay,
scroll wheel, it'll zoom it in a little bit.
maybe it'll let me.
Plus, I'm not sure exactly. Something makes it, there's maybe view menu and zoom in. But normally putting your mouse in, I think, control or something and scrolling or shift. And yeah, it's control and scroll up or control plus.
Is that good for y'all?
I think so. Yeah, I can read it now.
All right, so I basically had two functions inside of another function to run the entire code. Where I had the method test would test connection with the IP address, and it would hit once rather than 4 times. And it feels like no error, then it would come back true, and else it would return null. And that's like when the menu runs, it will like not do the actual output of that specific IP address. And I had this other one that was get host by IP, where it would resolve the host name if it was like a Microsoft machine, and it would return the object of that, where it would detect the name, and I'll put that name on the right menu, which you will see in a few minutes. Then I have the main function, which would clear the host first, output like check the or it would output so you could input the IP route you're looking for. So you would know like, hey, it's in this sort of subnet. Put find these nodes, and yeah, as a little menu I set up, and it would check through all the possible connections in this for loop. It would go from 1 to 254 pretty much, and like do those tests from those methods, and if it was returned, then it would like actually print those. And I had the split between two variables so that I can like put one part of the results half a couple times and then put the other part of the results. I used escape characters for menu, so I could actually look more decent. So yeah, but like a basic network 192.16.0, and then it would check connection between 192.168.0.1 to 192.168.0.254, and if the name also had, or if the IP also had like a Microsoft friendly name, it would also output that on the right, as you'll see in a few seconds. So that would be mine for our network. But yeah, it would. That's pretty much all it does. That's all active IPv4 connections. So yeah. That's basically what it does. That's all. Does anyone have any questions?
It's pretty cool, Ping Sweeper.
It took me a little bit, but I figured it out how to do the name part of it too. Yeah.
You can always kind of tell when somebody's coded before.
Yeah. I've made several things before. I actually made a Reddit parser that goes through like different memes and just put outputs like memes on a GUI frame in Python. So
Is
yeah.
it just because his functions look so much neater than anything I've ever seen?
Yeah. It looks like code that somebody that knew what they were doing was doing.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I've been doing this for a couple of years now, so.
Awesome. Okay. That's really good.
Right. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now.
Now we have Aaron or Paul.
I guess I'll go.
Okay.
Let's see here. Yeah, that's not gonna look good. Okay. So I did mine in a PowerPoint. Let's see here. That's not what I was supposed to do. There we go. Okay. So this was the script I used. I used this to ask if there was new users, to add new users into the system. I did a do until loop, and it started with the new users variable and wrote the prompt, is there a new user, with the yes or no answer. And then it did an if statement that if it was yes, it would have the username, ask for what will the username be. And then it did a check to see if the username was still in the system, or if it was already in the system. And it would put out that the username is already taken, and it would ask you to try a different one. And then it would do that until it no longer equaled a username already in the system. And then the password, it would ask for a password, and it would do it as a secure string. And then I did the birth name variable, which was just ask what the user's full name was. And then I gave a description, which was give a description of the account. And then it would take all that and it would put it as the new local user. And it would put in all the different variables. And then it would write, then it would go and ask if there was another new user. And if you hit no, then it would tell you time to take a nap.
And you tried this?
Yes, and it worked.
What about if it was a duplicate user?
If it was a duplicate user, it would just keep telling you to get another username.
Okay, and that did work.
Yes. And so this is where it would ask if there's a new user. And then if you type yes, what will the username be? And then when I put one that was already in there, it would say, this is already taken, please try a different one. And then once I put one in that it could use, it asked for the password. And then once I said no, there was not another new user, it put the output as the username and the description, and then it said time to take a nap. And that was that.
Go back a little bit to the first slide, I guess, the one that had all the code.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that one. So I'm looking at the do until. Am I missing where that it asked if it found a duplicate, or does it ask to enter another name? It looks like.
Oh, the please try a different one.
Okay, yeah, I see where it is. Username, read host. I see your other read host there. I just missed that the first time around.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, it looks good. Cool script. It definitely could be useful trying to enter somebody into the system.
It took a lot of research to figure out how to get it to check for another username already in there.
Yep. Yep. Good work.
And that's the $ taken user.
Yes.
Yeah, he re-gets the Active Directory. He sees if it's in there or not.
Because it got the get, add user, and then it checked the filter for the SAM account name.
If the user didn't exist, it'd return null. So taking user would be null. If it returned a user, then it would have a username in there and it wouldn't be null. And then it would say, hey, username already taken. Yep.
Alrighty.
Alrighty, now we need to figure out between Paul and Paul. Screen share.
Okie doke. Optimize and share computer sound.
You don't have to share computer sound, but you, oh yeah, you do. Yeah, both of them.
All right, so we've got presentation 2 for LAN. My name is Paul Sab, and I did a quick menu demonstration. I'm going to walk through kind of the beginning of this to how it became functional. So you'll notice a difference between the way this looks now from the notepad and the way this looks in the PowerShell. So working on this, started to write things out. All of the switch functions here for question 1 and responses for questions 2 and 3 from the menu are written here. And first I tried to do these just with the switch. I tried to make this work with an if statement, and after a little help was able to narrow these two down into functions, which you'll see in the actual finished script. And that really simplified this and made it a lot easier to actually work with, because instead of working to 7, 8, 9 lines of scripts, I was able to type in just one function and get this to work. So let me start first by clearing this out. I don't mind the spelling there. So we'll do a quick side-by-side. So on the actual PowerShell, you'll see at the top my lines 1, this goes down to almost 20, 16, 17. You've got the function, which I named Carol Baskins appropriately for the question, and are you sure for question number 2. And each one of these lines of script, this one took, we'll say, 5 lines here and another 5 lines. And instead of having an extra 10 lines, I was able to break that into this very small, easy to read, easy to manage script using the function. So when I play this, my menu comes up. And we'll start from the top, option number 1. If any of you guys have seen this, you know exactly what I'm asking here. I won't ruin this for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. Just play along, we'll say yes as the answer, to which the response is me too. We'll go with 1 and answer no this time. Just a gentle nod in what I think is the right direction there. Moving down to selection number 2. So you saw that the selection for number 2, question I have not watched the Tiger King, automatically played the video. So that was the command executable here that is automatically playing the video, and you'll see that again used for a response to question number 3. The default, so a quick example what is happening there with the default. Any incorrect response, anything other than your specified answers here, the yes or no, 1, 2, 3, or 4 for exit, will give you this response. The answer is unacceptable, please watch, then choose an accepted response. And all of these responses, switches, functions are wrapped in a nice, neat do while loop. So we've got our command at the top to do curly brackets while the $ answer is not equal to 4, because that 4 is going to tell it to exit the poll. And as long as that option is not 4, it will continue to loop through and allow you to choose different acceptable responses.
And that wrapped up the whole recording. Anybody have questions?
Yes. 2 questions. 1, did you really watch that show?
I had to.
2, can you use the command like you used to open the YouTube? Can you use that to open anything, like any executable?
Probably.
I think so. I think
If it
that'll
did-
just open whatever link you put in there.
I helped find that one.
You can just invoke just the program name. You might want to use like $env or some environment variables we haven't really played with in PowerShell. That'll be probably LAN 3 to cover that. We'll cover the do while, do until type stuff in LAN 2. That was good. Some of y'all were picking up on the loops, getting a little bit ahead.
You've already, yeah, but I thought you already talked to us about do while like weeks ago.
I may have. I don't know. I don't think I did. Maybe your group I did.
Yeah, no, we talked about that.
That was weeks ago.
I don't know that I actually showed off a lot of do whiles. I may have mentioned it with the for loop, possibly. That was before spring break when we were active in class.
Quarantine.
But we I think in PowerShell 2 or one of the last 2 labs, you'd mentioned using a do while loop or something.
Maybe my menu example, I may have mentioned a do while or something.
I think that's where it was.
Yeah, I don't know anything pre-quarantine anymore.
So, Mr. Goodman, where's your
PQ.
What'd you say, Michael?
Say, where's your presentation?
Oh, I don't know. I got a Python one.
Sure, let's go ahead.